This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Amanda Bauer. It's Thursday, August 25. In Squiz Kids Today, spelling still matters, passengers stuck beneath the sea, Melbourne goes to Greece, and a noisy black hole. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Hands up if spelling is your favourite subject at school. Now, I know this is a podcast, so I can't actually see you, but I'm betting there aren't many hands up right now. Spelling in the English language is frustrating. I mean, why on earth would the number 8 be spelled E-I-G-H-T? Eigit? Give me a break. But annoying or not, good spelling is important. It could even be the difference between getting a job or staying unemployed. You see, surveys of job recruiters, those people who look at applications and decide whom they want to interview for a job, have found that spelling mistakes are at the top of their list of no-nos. If they see spelling mistakes, they're likely to think that the person who's applying for the job doesn't pay attention to detail. And that's not the kind of person you want working for you, is it? But thousands of adults haven't gotten that spelling message. An analysis of more than 100,000 job applications has found that 62% of them had spelling mistakes. The most commonly misspelt word, experienced. That's E-X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E-D. But apparently a lot of grown-ups put A-D at the end instead. The second most misspelt word, successful, followed closely by achieved, independent, responsible, and professional. Now take it from the experts, people. You aren't being independent, responsible, professional, or successful if you don't read through your work and look for spelling mistakes. And kids, if you learn how to spell these words properly now, you can help your parents the next time they're applying for a job.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed 75 metres beneath the surface of the English Channel, where passengers travelling between France and England got stuck for 5 hours when their train broke down on Tuesday. Now, I don't know about you, but I get the heebie-jeebies thinking about being stranded in a tunnel under the sea for 5 hours. The passengers spent the first 90 minutes or so sitting on the train while authorities investigated why alarms had gone off indicating a problem. Then they were evacuated, some with dogs and many with suitcases, and they had to walk through an emergency link to another tunnel deep under the sea where a second train was waiting. Yeesh.
Pop Culture Corner.
Fans of the hugely popular Percy Jackson book series may want to take a trip to Melbourne this summer because starting on November 16, they'll be able to visit the Parthenon in the gardens of the National Gallery of Victoria. The Parthenon, in case you don't know, is a massive 2,000-year-old temple that dominates the hill of the Acropolis in Athens. And no, it's not moving to Melbourne, but the art gallery has commissioned, which means paid an artist to create, its own version. Called the Temple of Boom, there's another pop culture reference for you, Indiana Jones, the Melbourne Parthenon's columns will be covered in murals made by local artists, and it will host live music and performances all summer long. The Temple of Boom will be about 1/3 the size of the original Parthenon. If you want the full-size version, you'll need to book a ticket to Greece or Nashville in the USA, where a replica, meaning copy, was built in 1897.
Spaced out.
Have a listen to this and see what you think it is. America's space agency NASA has busted open the misconception that there is no sound in space with this recording of the noises coming out of a supermassive black hole. Now, it is true that in much of space there is no sound. That's because most of space is in a vacuum, which means that there's nothing for sound waves to travel through. But the Perseus galaxy cluster has lots of hot gas, and waves sent out by the black hole cause ripples in that gas, which can be translated into musical notes. The sound of a black hole. Amazing. While we have you out here in space, I highly recommend that you check the link in your episode notes to the James Webb Deep Space Telescope's new close-ups of Jupiter. A picture is worth at least 1,000 words, and I really can't do these incredible images justice. See them for yourselves. You'll be glad you did.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What is the name of the ancient Greek temple being recreated this summer in Melbourne? That's right, it's the Parthenon. Question number 2. Which is the most commonly misspelled word on adults' job applications? Yes, that's right, experienced. Extra points if you can spell it correctly. And question number 3. What is making noise in the Perseus galaxy cluster? That's right, a supermassive black hole.
Shout outs.
It's August 25, and on this day in 1768, Captain James Cook departed from Plymouth, England, on his first voyage on board the Endeavour. In April 1770, Cook and his Endeavour crew became the first known Europeans to reach the east coast of Australia. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Hannah from Craigburn, Hugh from Forest Lake, Baxter from Cannon Hill, Joshua from South Kingsville, Douglas from Lansvale, Benjamin from Paradise Point, Joshua from Melbourne, Jamie from Williamstown, Edward from Abbotsford and Hannah from Dapto. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Layla from Craigburn and Lauren from Abbotsford. Classroom shout-outs today go to Year 4, 5, 6 and Mr Hoskins at Minganoo Primary School, Class 4, 5 SB with Mrs Cameron Smith and Mrs Bellamy at Parramatta East Public School, Class 6 WS and Mr Williams at Pullenvale State School, Year 3 and Miss Potts at St Paul's Primary School in Mount Lawley, Grade 2 and Miss Perkins at Queanbeyan South Primary School, and lastly Year 5 and Mrs Bruce at Our Lady of the Rosary School in Caloundra. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. That's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.